In a small apartment in Los Angeles, the night was quiet except for the soft hum of the city outside. A young woman named Sophia Carter sat alone by the window, holding an old photo album. Every picture she turned filled her eyes with tears. It was full of memories of her mother, the woman who had given everything for her daughter's dream. Sophia's father had passed away when she was just 3 years old. From that moment, it was only her and her mother against the world. Her mother, Linda Carter, worked tirelessly, teaching at a private school during the day and cleaning tables in a restaurant at night. Life had never been easy, but Linda never complained. She lived for one purpose only: to make her daughter a great singer. Every night when Sophia was a little girl, her mother would sit beside her bed and hum lullabies. Those songs became the first spark in Sophia's heart. One evening, Linda looked at her daughter and said, "Sophia, one day you'll sing on a big stage, and I'll be right there watching you." Sophia laughed, holding her mother's hand, and said, "Promise, Mom, you'll see." Years passed, and Linda's struggle only grew harder. She worked 2 jobs to pay the school fees for a good school in Los Angeles, and even enrolled Sophia in evening music classes. Every dollar she earned went toward her daughter's dream. And despite exhaustion, every night before bed, she would whisper, "Never give up, Sophia. No matter what life throws at you." When Sophia completed her graduation, she was ready to make her mother proud. She started going from studio to studio, audition after audition, trying to find a chance. But every door seemed to close before it even opened. "Your voice is good, but not what we're looking for. You don't have the right look. You need more followers." Sophia heard these words again and again. Some days she would come home crying, but her mother would hold her close and say, "You're my superstar. The world will hear you one day." But then came the moment that changed everything. Her mother fell ill. At first, Sophia thought it was just fatigue, but soon her condition worsened. Doctors said it was a serious illness, one that needed expensive treatment Sophia couldn't afford. She tried everything. She sold her clothes, old books, even her small gold necklace, a gift from her mother. But the money was never enough. Finally, she took her mother to a government hospital, hoping at least for basic care. Days turned into nights as she sat beside her mother's bed, praying silently. One evening, the doctor came out of the room with a quiet look on his face. He said only 4 words, "We did our best." And just like that, Sophia's world collapsed. Her mother, her best friend, her strength, was gone. For weeks, Sophia didn't speak to anyone. She would sit alone in the small apartment, staring at the empty chair where her mother once sat. The music stopped. The dreams stopped. Everything seemed meaningless. Then one night, while going through her mother's things, she found a folded piece of paper. It was an old letter, written in her mother's handwriting. "My sweet Sophia, if the world ever turns its back on you, don't stop singing. Your voice will one day touch hearts. I believe in you." Sophia pressed the letter to her chest and cried for hours. But as she wiped her tears, she made a promise. "Mom, I'll sing again. For you." She sold her laptop and bought a used guitar. She had no stage, no lights, no audience, but she had courage. The next morning, she went to a crowded park in Los Angeles, stood on a corner, and began to sing. At first, people passed by without even looking at her. Some laughed. Some ignored her. A few tossed coins into her open guitar case. But Sophia didn't stop. Every note she sang carried a piece of her soul. The next day, she sang again, in a subway station. Then again, in front of a busy cafe. Days went by, and still, no one seemed to care. But each night, Before sleeping, she looked at her mother's picture and said, "I'll try again tomorrow." Weeks passed and Sophia was exhausted. Her voice cracked, her feet ached, but she refused to give up. Then one rainy evening, she stood outside a metro station, soaked from head to toe. Hardly anyone was around. She thought to herself, "Maybe this is the last time." She closed her eyes and began to sing one final time, a song filled with pain, loss, and love. Her voice trembled, but it carried emotion that no microphone could capture. It was the sound of a broken heart finding its way back to life. Slowly, people began to stop. One by one, they turned to listen. Some stood silently, others recorded her on their phones. The air was filled with her music, raw, emotional, real. When she finished, there was silence for a moment. And then came applause. People clapped, some even cried. A little girl walked up to her and said softly, "You sing like my mom's heartbeat." Sophia smiled through her tears. It felt like her mother had just spoken through that little girl. In the crowd, a man had recorded her entire performance. He posted the video on social media with the caption, "Sometimes pain creates the most beautiful songs." By the next morning, the video had gone viral. Within hours, millions of people had seen it. Her voice touched hearts all over the world. She woke up to hundreds of messages, thousands of followers, and one message that changed her life. A famous music producer from Los Angeles wanted to meet her. When Sophia walked into the studio for the first time, her hands were trembling. The producer smiled and said, "Your voice doesn't need polish. It needs the world to hear it." They recorded the same song she had sung in the rain. When the song was released, it exploded online. Millions of views, endless love, and people sharing how her voice gave them hope. For Sophia, success didn't mean fame. It meant keeping her mother's promise alive. She named her first album The Promise, a tribute to the letter her mother had written. Months later, she started a music foundation in her mother's name, the Linda Dream Project. It offered free singing lessons to kids who couldn't afford them. She wanted to give them what her mother had given her, a chance to dream. Inside her small studio, she hung a quote on the wall. "Dreams never die, they just wait for courage to wake them up." Sophia kept performing, but she never forgot where she came from. At every concert, she reserved one empty seat in the front row, the seat where her mother would have sat. One evening, she performed at the biggest concert of her life, a packed arena in Los Angeles. Thousands of fans held up lights as she walked onto the stage. Before starting her song, she looked up and said, "I am the daughter of a single mother who worked day and night for me. I had nothing, but I had her belief. And that belief made me who I am." So if you're watching this, please, no matter how hard life gets, never give up on your dreams. The crowd stood and clapped, tears in many eyes. Sophia began to sing the same song, the one she sang in the rain, but this time her voice echoed through the stadium like hope itself. As the music faded, she looked up at the sky, smiling. "Mom," she whispered, "I did it." And somewhere beyond the city lights, it felt as if her mother was smiling back, her voice echoing softly. "I told you, one of those lights would shine for you." That night, one light in Los Angeles shone brighter than the rest, the light of Sophia Carter, the girl who never gave up.